Good morning, Lulus. How you doing? I think when we look back at 2025, we will realize that this is the year that all of the conspiracy theorists were right. And not just the ones on our side. All of them. Because when you think back on Pizzagate, they weren't all the way wrong. It obviously wasn't just her. It wasn't just the people that they wanted it to be, but there is a deep ring of people moving and exchanging small humans around in exchange for money, power, and political favors. Like, they were right about that. Disclosure, true. And thousands of people have lost their livelihoods, sometimes their lives over it, and it was all true. But we've given everybody all these labels so that we just consider each other crazy, so that we can't thoroughly exchange information. But it turns out a lot of them have been right. Russia, yeah, that wasn't a conspiracy theory either, was it? Because just in the last few days, we tried to extort the country of Ukraine with a peace deal, and we said that it was ours, right? And basically, we asked Ukraine to cede land that hadn't even been invaded by the cold country yet, and said that if they didn't do this by Thanksgiving, then we were going to cut off all aid to that country. And they were really scared. They're like, we're going to lose one of our biggest allies. And then it turned out a couple of days later, its wish list came directly from the Kremlin. We're completely compromised. It's not a conspiracy theory. Criminals go crim, and our Casablanca is completely and utterly embedded with bad actors from foreign countries. For a very brief period of time over the weekend, X started showing its location of its biggest accounts, and it turned out, especially the ones that are on the MAGA side, aren't even from here. You don't even go here. They were from Nigeria, the country that's not real, and the cold country. Most of the people that MAGA have been following, emulating, and using as an excuse to believe in the things that they believed aren't even from here. This is a straight up psychological operation, full stop. Even the Department of Homeland Security, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, was shown to be located in Tel Aviv. Now, they released a statement saying that entire thing is AI. It's not true at all, but there are plenty of people who have receipts, took screenshots, and saw it with their own eyes. It's the deep state. There is indeed an entire ass deep state, and we have to unravel it. The fact that Steve Bannon gets to just wander around the streets all willy-nilly like he's not the most compromised human being probably in our entire country truly blows my mind, because he's already outright said that everybody who he works with is going to jail, and it's very clear why. In these files, it's come out that Steve Bannon and the Floridian billionaire, they were interacting on a daily basis. Not just chit-chatting either. They were planning on how to destabilize our country. They were pushing the narrative about having the Maverick be peached because of all the things that were happening in Ukraine. Yeah, that was him. And reportedly, Rudy Giuliani was in on it too, according to these emails. And do we remember what happened to Rudy Giuliani a couple months ago? Remember, he got pulled over on the highway by an injured woman, and then reportedly a few miles down the road, he was rammed going 80 miles an hour on the highway, and then we kind of haven't heard very much about him since then. Reportedly, CBS Investigates was trying to get video footage of the guy who did the in Utah with CK, and they said that they don't have any footage of that guy going into the jail cell whatsoever. Remember what they did to Mario's brother? It was a whole big thing. They made it seem like they caught the biggest, scariest that there had ever been caught. Yeah, they didn't do that for this Tyler guy. They reportedly don't have any footage of him there whatsoever. And just last month, he was supposed to be on the stand having a court day because it was a big thing about whether or not he got to wear his regular clothes or his jail clothes. And at the very last minute, on the day of the hearing, they postponed it until January. So where the heck is he? And if all the biggest MAGA accounts are fake, and they just eliminated 45 million MAGA bot accounts just off of this platform alone, if there were certain precincts that reported over 100% participation in the last given content, and if we've been infiltrated by a foreign country, then he probably didn't win. And his ear certainly didn't grow back! All of it's true. I wish it wasn't, because it is completely and utterly crazy making, but all of the darkest times in history have occurred because people put their heads in the sand and just opted for comfort instead of the truth. And I hope following this dark age that we're in right now, we will step into a world of enlightenment. Not one that's right or left or black or white. It will be truth versus lies. I hope that it is practicality and reality versus pearl clutching and tradition. I hope that after all of this, we can see each other as fellow humans and rebuild this place in the image in which it was intended to be. I hope that our children get to see an America that's worth being proud of again. But that starts with clinging on to the truth. So thanks for being here with me along the way. I feel incredibly vindicated, and I think that we are in for an incredibly interesting week. So keep your eyes up, keep your feet on the ground, okay? I'll see you next time. Ta-ta!